Hey everybody, it's IKK's Action Reviews. We are back again with another video, and guys, I just got done with Matrix Resurrections. Guys, I had a blast of a time with this movie. As I said, I want to do a ranking video sooner or later, probably maybe sometime tomorrow. I'll drop my ranking video. I have to make it, of course, but this really makes me want to go rank these movies because the way I felt about this movie is it felt great to be back, like right when we first get the logo and get the music playing again and we see the code of the Matrix pop up on the screen. It made me feel like the way I felt when I first watched the Matrix of the unknown, of like what's going to happen, of me being happy that we're getting to see where, of course, Neo is, since due to the events of the last film, and seeing where Trinity is, because as we all know, from the last film of Matrix 3, we end up seeing Trinity dead, and we end up seeing Neo pretty much on the fact that we think he's dead. And there's peace with in the core of the earth, there's peace. And we end up getting the years that Neo misses in this movie, and we get an explanation of, I guess the one of the main hubs of the main place. I guess people died, and of one of the last places in the core, I guess one of the colonies died, and I guess there was a new colony that I guess survived, and that was interesting to hear. And that's how Morpheus died. I guess that Morpheus, and we get an explanation how we get this new Morpheus in the movie, played by Yahya Abdul, which was really cool because the Matrix has evolved. And that was cool to see that in this movie, how like the new technology within the Matrix. And to see what Neo's been up to in that time was very interesting to me. To find out that there is a new, analyst, and it's played by Neil Patrick Harris, and that was very cool to see him play this role. That he discovered the power of the one, and was able to harness it to power up their the robots city and core. I guess there was a way to use their abilities and make it his own almost, which was very interesting to see how he was able to use their powers, or at least use Neo's powers, which was very cool to me, that he was able to figure out how it all worked. So he pretty much ends up saving Neo, and ends up saving Trinity to I guess they're strong. He finds out they're stronger together, and that's how he was able to crack the code, is when he's around Trinity, he's stronger. And I guess now Trinity has abilities, from what I'm understanding, is that when they're close to one another, I guess that she was imbued with powers, but we didn't really see it until now. I guess she wasn't at that potential yet that she was going to get to before she died. So we end up seeing that in this movie. And that was cool to find out that Trinity was actually alive, and they actually kept her alive, because that was his motivation, and that's what kind of cracked the code for, the analyst of that Neil Patrick Harris was playing. So I really do like how they explained that, that's how he was able to crack the code, is them being together, and it was the love that they had that he was able to crack that code. And I thought that was cool. Along with there's a new form of a team, kind of like how the form of Morpheus had the team of Trinity and all the other shipmates of the ship that they have, of their craft. We see that a new crew with, of course, with Bugs, which is kind of like the new Trinity of that group. And we have, of course, a new Morpheus, which they explain how there is a new Morpheus, but he's within the Matrix, he's code. And I like it because Neo, he I guess isn't like Neo. He is Mr. Anderson in this alternate, or he's not even called Mr. Anderson in this alternate. He's called something else, it was I forget what it was. Trevor, I think his name is, that they gave him. And I like it because the analyst made him think, the Matrix made him think in the Matrix, when he did the recoding for the Matrix, he made Neo think that his name was just Trevor, and he came up with the idea of the game The Matrix, and making him think that it was just a game that he made. It was an idea, that it wasn't his life. which was really funny that he was like a game that he made, that they made him think it was a game and not his actual life. And it was funny because it was like breaking the fourth wall. It was very meta. I was like, oh my god, this is very weird. They're talking about sequels. They're talking about oh, it needs to be bigger and better. It needs to it's funny because he's like the one dude that was coming up with the idea when like his gaming crew, like I guess the people that like come up with some gaming ideas were like, oh, when people think about the Matrix, they think about bullet time and the going back moment and bending back moment. So that was very funny to me that it was just very meta. And shout out to Superwise because he was actually saying to me like that it felt very meta, which it did. It felt very meta, and I liked it, and it worked because it's the Matrix. And of course, what a perfect way for the analyst to be like, oh, let's just make him think it was a video game idea he came up with, and let's just make him be a video game designer. And, and that goes previously to what Neo initially did, as Mr. Anderson, what he did in his other life before he got put into this. He was did coding and stuff like that, and that's how he kind of got into everything. What? For the black market?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah, he did stuff for the black market or something.
For the black market, and he just was an office dude.
Yeah,
who got on the act.
So I do like how it's kind of they played with that a bit, as my brother just said. So I do like how they did this because it only worked with them doing this meta stuff, him being the game designer, him having, Neil Patrick Harris but he's the analyst, but he's being the therapist for him, saying, oh, this is what's real. That was a game idea you came up with that wasn't your life. And then we see, of course, the Bugs' character and of course, the Morpheus that, he was made, from the code. And I love the person that plays Bugs. She really did a really good job. Her name is Jessica Henwick, and she did an amazing job. I know her, of course, from Iron Fist. So that was really cool to see her come back and to really get a big role like this, because I haven't really seen her on many projects since Iron Fist. So it was cool to see her in this because she killed it. She stole the show in the beginning of this movie. She stole the show multiple times in this movie, and that was what really pulled me in, is that you get a outside perspective of the story of Trinity and the openings of the original Matrix movie of her, in the one room, but there's somebody else playing Trinity, and she's like, this isn't, the memory I remember, or this isn't the history that we remember. This isn't right, meaning that it was played different. There was a different person playing her, but it was the game version of what he came up with, of what, the analyst made, I guess Trevor, aka of course Neo, come up with in the game. So I liked what they did there, and I liked how that's how Neo remade Morpheus. He made them into a Mr. Smith type character, but it wasn't He made Mr. Smith and Morpheus combined, and that's how he had the other side, and he was able to unlock the other side because we see him acting like a Mr. Smith operative, but he actually had a different side that unlocked within himself. That was a Morpheus. He found out that they mixed together with Morpheus and Mr. Smith, and that was very cool that he unlocked the Morpheus side. So I thought that was cool when they did that, and when they actually had his name is the person that plays the new Mr. Smith was cool. His name was actually Jonathan Groff. He did an amazing job too. He killed it. I just really liked how they switched things up, but they did it in him creating a video game that did all this kind of stuff, to make him think that that wasn't his life. And I thought that was very creative and very new and fresh. And I just loved the fighting in this movie was phenomenal. I love the one sequence that we saw in the trailer when he jumps around the wall and kicks Mr. Smith and then shoots him up against the wall, and he says, I still know Kung Fu. I'm like, that's fire. That was so cool to see him do that, the fight sequences. And to see Keanu actually do the fighting was sick. Of course, he probably had some stunt doubles probably in there. I don't know. But from what I saw, I saw him doing it. When I was like, this is so sick that he did this. He does this stuff. And, he does a lot of his own stunts in John Wick, of course, as we know. We've seen behind the scenes and stuff. So seeing him really, want to do this and and really do the physical fighting, you gotta love Keanu. He's just awesome. I just loved this movie, And to see like Trinity again was sick, and to find out like them, just that one sequence where we see them like when we see the analyst like fixing them up, bringing them back to life, him saying it cost so much money doing this, but it was so worth it because I was able to unlock your code and I was able to get your powers and be able to use them. And that was really cool to again see Carrie-Ann Moss play Trinity again, because the moment I loved is that she's playing someone else. She's playing like a mother in this world that of I guess of the world that of course of this Trevor, aka Neo, being this video game designer. I love how like she even knew that kind of life was fake. She even had a feeling it was fake, and she like had that aggressive Trinity aspect when she's like, "Oh, I want to kick my husband and unhinge his jaw." When I said, "Do I look like your game character Trinity?" and he said no, and I just wanted to kick him in the jaw and unhinge it. And I'm like, "Oh my god, that's that Trinity that we know." And then I love the moment where like she's about to walk out, and Neo's about to get put back in to be the battery along with Trinity and be put back in this world and not know that he is he has an actual life outside of the Matrix. And the moment when she finally realizes I'm Trinity, and the whole big fight sequence breaks out that we see in the trailers where there's a ton of people and they get on the bike sequence, and that was just all really, really cool to see all that go down. But the one disturbing moment is when we see all the people, Mr. Smith is making all the people jump out the windows, and we see when they splat, their code just leaks out, their code. And that was just disturbing. So I understand where the rated R aspect came in. Of course, there was a couple of swear words here and there, but to see that go down where just people are just committing and jumping and just splatting and we're seeing code, I was like, that's just disturbing. But like we saw the really impactful ending of this movie, and we see their leap of faith, because they even make a joke to this when all the people Mr. Smith pretty much makes everybody like walking zombies. We see the moment where like all of the other crewmates were like, can you still fly? And they play the music and it went because there was very like meta moment, like, oh, I can't fly anymore, like this, and I thought that was hilarious. And the moment where they do a leap of faith and Trinity is flying, and we uncover that they both have the powers, they've both become the one. I loved that because of the connection that they have to one another. Get it? Like one another, the one. I do like what they did there. And we end up seeing and ending this movie with both of them having the powers of the one. And they end up going to the analyst's place, and she literally like bursts open his living room, ends up flying in there, and she kicks this dude in the jaw. And I kid you not, his jaw was unhinged, like code leaking out. I was like, oh my god! I was like, that is disgusting. What the hell? That's some Mortal Kombat type shit. What the heck? He was on some Melina type shit. I was like, oh, but I just thought that was awesome though when she's like, we have a second chance. And I'm thinking there will be maybe 2 more movies. I'm thinking this is like them saying they're willing to come back and do more Matrix movies, which would be I'm down with. I'm okay with, because the CGI was good in this. The fight choreography was amazing. There was one sequence where there was these homeless people just screaming out to them, and I didn't know what was going on. I think they called them the Outlanders or something like that. I don't quite remember that from the old Matrix movies, but that was just weird. The dude was talking gibberish. I was like, what the hell? I was laughing at that part. Honestly, I didn't know what was happening, but he's just screaming out gibberish like, oh, blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, dude. It's funny that you're adding that on top of the fighting going on right now. But other than that, I really enjoyed this movie, and it's going to be fun to do the ranking because, I don't know, watching this movie and me remembering, because again, I watched the other movies a couple of months ago getting ready for this movie, I have a clear understanding of, why people didn't like some of the older Matrix movies, and I have an understanding on some of the reason why people might not have liked this one. But I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was a really good, coming back to the Matrix for these characters, and a new way to open the door to newer characters and a new world building, new technology. And, you know, I love when they were able to use the code from the Matrix and make actual, like, fruit. That was amazing. That was something we have not seen before. And to see them actually be able to use the code and make actual food in the real world was impressive. And then to see them, there was this one, like, Power Ranger technology that they had when they were all, like, these individual, like, I can't even describe it, like, particles, and it reminded me of Zordon in the Power Rangers movie, where it was all, like, you know, crystallized and, like, particles, and I was like, oh my god, that's very, like, Power Rangers technology right there. I was like, that's funny. I was like, that's very Zordon, and that's them being able to do stuff outside the Matrix, but be there in present. I thought that was cool. That was a new technology that I would love to see go into more if we get another, you know, Matrix movie, like a Matrix 5. That'd be sick. I think there will be a Matrix 5 and 6. I feel like they left it open-ended where there could be more. So I feel like this was kind of like a reboot / continuation to open the door again. So I really do appreciate that they want to keep the Matrix going. And I think it'd be fun. But guys, I really want to know down in the comments below what you guys thought about Matrix, you know, Resurrections. Again, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was cool to see Keanu back, you know, playing, you know, of course, you know, Neo. And I thought it was cool to see Carrie-Ann Moss play, you know, Trinity. I thought it was amazing. And of course, I think Neil Patrick Harris did an amazing job, again, as the analyst. I think, you know, Jonathan Groff did an amazing job, too, as, you know, Mr. Smith. So, and also, of course, you know, Yahya Abdul as, you know, Morpheus, and of course, you know, I can't believe I'm blanking right now. I can't believe that. It's funny. Jessica, you know, Henwick, you know, she, again, did an amazing job as, you know, the new character Bugs, the new, like, sort of Trinity character. I really enjoyed that. So, I'm excited to see what people have to say about this movie. I'm going to go check out people's reviews and see how they liked it. But I enjoyed it. I had a fun time. I definitely would recommend it if you have nothing to watch, guys. You guys should definitely go check out this movie. If you guys are Matrix fans, you won't be disappointed. This was a very fun time. And if you guys have HBO Max, you know, why not watch it safely in your home? You know, I do like supporting the theaters, but we are in a crazy time where if you can watch it at home and stay safe without taking any chances, I recommend you should do that. I did that. And, you know, but you can do both. You can have the best of both worlds. You can support the theater, but also stay safe when you know what I mean? It's not worth the risk, and you should stay home and just watch it if you can watch it at home. So, but yeah, guys, that was the video. If you're new to the channel, subscribe to the channel, put on those notifications, like this video. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say down in the comments below about Matrix Resurrections. But guys, that was the video. I hope everybody has a great day, a safe day. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.